Rise and say the pledge.
Yeah, I moved it closer to you, so it's on. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I ask that everybody bears with us, as this is the first time we're using Zoom and trying to get through the bugs of it. So, any changes to the agenda than what was publicized, John?
I think the only other item would be on new business, the skid loader purchase. I'd like to have that tabled or taken off the agenda.
Okay. So then moving on to the March 10th Board of Supervisor meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All right.
Dave, I have one item on public input.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I skipped right over that.
That's
Yep.
okay. And again, bear with us with Zoom. I had this tested out, or so I thought, at home, but once I'm in here doing some things didn't work according to plan. But what I did was I took a look at email, and I had one response for public comment, and it was from Pat Krebs on behalf of the Lebanon Valley Bicycle Coalition. And Pat, I hope you don't mind, I'm just going to just kind of give the highlights here from the roadside litter cleanup on March of 2020, before the social distancing was enacted. The Lebanon Valley Bicycle Association or coalition members cleaned the roadsides on a section of Lawn Road and Ginrick Road. And then also from a safety standpoint, the coalition of members have noted that many families, children, youth are biking and exercising for fun and other reasons, and that's wonderful. Unfortunately, some are not using bicycle helmets. They're riding on the wrong side of the road or not stopping and be sure it's safe to cross the streets. So one of the things that they're suggesting here, the coalition is encouraging, is that the bicycle safety video that's on the South Londonderry Township website. Also, the other thing that was pointed out here by the coalition is that they have some bright visible flags, those orange flags, I guess, that's mounted on the back of children's bicycles and bicycles trailers. They're available just from a visual standpoint, and I guess there's some for free for the taking on 121 Lawn Road, so folks can come over there and pick up their free flags for their bicycle if they wish. And that is all I have on public comment for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for skipping.
Oh, no, that's
that.
okay.
We didn't have the workshop. We canceled that. There wasn't much on the agenda that we were going to discuss. I was sworn to invite Kara to come from her too, but we got her later on the agenda, her report. So we'll talk about that then. Bill and payroll list 620. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. And a motion for 720 to approve.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And we'll move on to the reports. John, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to say on behalf of the South Londonderry Township employees that we'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors for their support and patience during the past several weeks as we have experienced unprecedented issues throughout this shelter-in-place event. Also like to express my appreciation to the South Londonderry Township Police, the Highway, Sewer, and the office staff for their dedication and special efforts in order to keep everyone safe while yet keeping our essential duties operating without missing a beat. Lastly, I want to thank our staff's family members and all the South Londonderry residents for being so supportive and caring of our dedicated employees throughout this event. This has been a total team effort, and while we're not out of the woods yet, the end hopefully is in sight, and we'll get back to, I guess, what they call normalcy at some point in time. I'm not sure what that will be either. Just a reminder for everybody that the Township building does remain closed to the public, but payments can still be mailed in or dropped off in the mailbox or in the drop box. Staff continue to address any emails or telephone calls and keep things rolling along the best we can. From the Iron Valley Soccer League and the Palmyra Parks and Rec soccer programs that which use the township fields. All that type of league play has been suspended until further notice. And also the Campbelltown Community Alliance, their April 18th, this Saturday, I guess, their community cleanup day has been canceled at this point in time. Just a reminder, and I know I've gotten several phone calls about this, but the South Londonderry Township parks and any kind of associated trails, they do remain open to the public, but we are reminding residents to practice social distancing, please. So I'm also working to get back onto the agenda on May at the Campbelltown Fire Company, our fire department. I'm supposed to sit down and talk with them a little bit and give them an update about the riparian tree planting buffer grant, that project that's going to be expanded upon on their property. But unfortunately, I was on the April's agenda and that meeting was canceled. So tentative approval has been received from the grant agency to expand this riparian. The on-site pre-construction meeting with Archibald, that's the company that won the bid for the planning. They will begin the initial tree, or this pre-construction meeting is set for tomorrow morning. I'm meeting with the engineers and on site to kind of do a walk through there and practice social distancing on that. I'm not going to go into the building, we're just going to be out there and kind of spec out everything. So there's positive activity going on that. For
we don't have anything from zoning code officer. Patrick, do we want to see if he has anything that's part of the sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Patrick, can you hear me now? No, you're off on yours. It's not taken. Oh, there we go. Patrick, can you talk now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, good. I don't have anything specific to report. I believe there's a resolution and a draft ordinance for you to potentially authorize for advertisement later on in the agenda. But other than that, is there anything specific for me that you have questions of?
Yeah. All right, then we'll check back with you when we, sorry, there's like echoing going on. We'll check back with you then when we have those things on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
So you can hear us now, Pat?
I can.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave you up then.
I'll leave you right there.
Somebody.
Okay. All right. We are on Chief. Do you have a report for us?
So during the month of March, officers reported on 203 incidents. That is down significantly. We are not patrolling in a normal fashion. We're only making essential traffic stops. We had to suspend aggressive driver enforcement. And the state totally understands. We endeavor to lose future grants because of that. Most departments have done that. However, before the pandemic rules were initiated, officers issued 13 traffic citations, 4 non-traffic citations, and gave 3 traffic warnings. So we spend a lot of time making sure we have a sufficient inventory. On calls, ambulances primarily is where we're using them, and trying to find sources to obtain more. We can't get very large quantities at any one time, which we probably wouldn't want to do because of hospitals and EMS agencies needing them. We just try to find enough to keep us going for 2 weeks. So far, we've been pretty successful at doing that. As far as upcoming trainings, officers had a lot of training scheduled in April and May. All it's been canceled. And also 2 officers canceled vacations they had coming up, so that won't schedule. That's all I have.
Okay.
I just have one question, Chief. Any guidance from like state police? I saw that woman pulled over in New York, but I know, kept the parks open and said because people need to get out at times for their sanity. Like, if you just took a drive, is that with yourself in your car? Is there any guidance? Is that you have any idea?
Well, first of all, there would be no reason to pull somebody over just being out driving. So we would only encounter that if we pulled them over for something. And that's what happened with state police. I think it was a faulty taillight.
And if it was overturned, that the light, the ticket
So-
was canceled.
It may end in a verbal warning that you're not going to somewhere essential, not supposed to be out driving, so end in a citation for warning card.
And you're not purposely pulling people over because they look like they're just taking a drive.
Oh, absolutely not. That would
In this country?
I hope.
Right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious because some people, you're stuck inside, 500 or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like 3 more weeks that it's.
We are getting some phone calls for guidance on how to do this and how to do that. We're not really restricted. No more restricted than what the governor is recommending. And just a recommendation. We don't tell people you can't do something. Tell them, yeah, it's still permissible, just with social distancing. It's in line.
Thank you.
Anything else for Chief? Okay. So moving on, did Kendra from the library send in a report at all? I know that they're obviously closed, but okay.
No fire company reports either. They were canceled.
Do you have something?
I just have a brief, really slow, which is great. I mean, it's really slow. Nobody moving, so we're just why 2 in the fire service. But we did have 5 calls. We had a building fire, 1 accident, 2 canceled round, and 1 very large brush fire over in Township.
Did you have a question?
No, I just know that, through the library, you can get some people getting bored. There's some stuff to do on the website.
There's also the Overdrive app that you can do to get books online. If you're able to do that. Okay, and I'm assuming nothing from Parks and Recs besides what you reported in your report. Correct. Okay. Minutes, we have historical meeting minutes. They were able to have a meeting before the shutdown or shelter in place. Fire board was rescheduled for the May month, hopefully.
I saw that.
Yeah, depending on how that goes. And authority, we did have minutes. They had a meeting prior to this also. So, township officials, do either of you have anything?
I would just say a couple things particularly for those people in our township that are working with vulnerable populations like the nursing home to remember social distancing practices. It's not a great look when I walk by there every day and see 4 or 5 people smoking cigarettes right outside the back door and going into that facility. So I would encourage both the people that are working there and the management to emphasize social distancing at that facility.
Anything else? All right, so moving on to new business, we have resolution 10/2020, which is to extend a discount period for net and penalty on tax bills. So the county, it has approved already, correct, John? To extend.
They were.
It's in the works.
Yeah, yes.
So here we are looking at a resolution, basically, that the tax notice date shall be deemed to be October 31st, 2020. The discount period for 2020 real estate tax bill shall be extended to June 30th, 2020. And the face payment, also known as the start of penalty payment period, shall be extended to November 1st, 2020. So this is what we're proposing. Do I have a motion to approve or a motion to move forward on resolution 10/2020?
So, second.
Anybody have any questions about that? can't ask the public if they have any questions. Patrick, did you have anything on this to add?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think John and I had some questions. I think Lebanon County's dates are a little bit different than I'm used to, but I think John confirmed with the county that they're consistent with what the county is adopting.
Yes,
I just
yes,
wanna make-
they reviewed our proposed resolution in draft form and said that it tied right into what they were going to do. So it met their approval.
Okay, that's fine. Just as long as the dates are clear and what they stand for, that's all.
Yep. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. All right, so moving on to the gluten reduction plan. We got a update here from Kara. I'm not sure if there's anything we actually need to move on this, more just information, which is what we were looking for to discuss at the workshop, which basically, if I'm looking at this right, which I talked to you earlier about it, John, we are looking like the one that we approved for her to try to get the Killinger NFWF grant application. We approved that last regular monthly meeting. And is that, if we do get that approval, it looks like we will have to pay for a third of the stream restoration, which will come to $66,666. And that would be a proposal of 1,500 linear feet of stream stabilization on Palmyra Creek. We are in contact with South Anvil to see if they're willing to, if they want to do something, half of it or not. But our sediment reduction would be very close to what our 10% needs to be for phosphorus rate. The nitrogen rate, the total sediment is 10%. The phosphorus rate is 5%, and the nitrogen is 3%, and would be very close on all of those, I'm seeing, except for the nitrogen would be a little short. But that would be, and would be a little short on the sediment.
Right, and I talked with Kara today, as a matter of fact, about this, and again, her comment is this is a great first start. We can go ahead and work on this. We have other opportunities between now and the end of the permitting period, and we can work on some of this. We can take a look and see if there's anything that the riparian grant might get us something. We doubt that it's going to be worth very much, but there's other opportunities as long as we are making a great effort to meet some of these reductions. DEP is not going to have a problem with us, and we can talk with them as we go get closer to that deadline.
And our permitting cycle ends 2023, from what I'm reading here. And my other question, do we, and I should have asked you this prior, but did Kara have an idea of when we find out about the grant, if we got approved or not?
No, in fact, she sent something to me this afternoon, so I've been drafting in my LinkedIn that I did not have a chance to read over it, and we can work together on that. I'll be able to give you updates on that once we get down a little further down the road.
Great. If you'll thank Kara, or Frank, if you can hear us, thank Kara. I was pleased to see these numbers that put a little bit more of the MS4. What are you laughing at?
It makes a lot of sense.
Of a mess, yeah. Well, I was pleased to see that these numbers are close, right?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, and 66,000 is a lot of money, but it's not 750,000, which is mind-boggling in and of itself. So, while I think this whole thing is a mess, but at least we're sitting in a good position, which I was happy to see, I guess, is my point. So.
And we're very hopeful with our chances on the grant, knowing that last year, 50% of the grants they put in for this particular grant, they were able to get in. And so learning what they learned on the ones that were successful, they will parlay that over to this grant. That just expedites us our percentage a bit more. So.
Was Frank waving it all on there, Bill? I can't see that far away. Can you see Bill or Frank on there?
He's waiting.
Okay. Does he know, like, emergency, I need to speak on this?
Nope.
Okay. Bill, do you have anything? Okay. Anything else on this part?
No, we'll keep you appraised of the progress on that.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to number 4 then, the UGI gas line easement across township land off Barnwell Lane. I'll turn that over to you, John, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I think Patrick and I kind of have this one. Patrick, do you want to take the lead on this?
Sure. I think at some point, Andrew Black, he's with UGI, reached out to the township. Probably Scott, I think, was his first contact. They want to put a pipeline or some extension of their service under existing town. My understanding is it's township property. It's a paper street, and there's no actual street there at this point in time. But they want to nevertheless extend their line through the township property. So if the board is okay with it, simply a motion conditionally authorizing them to proceed, subject to them entering into the appropriate agreement and or easement with the township, just making sure that they're responsible for repairing any damage, repairing the property, and putting it back to the condition it was, and that they're responsible for those similar requirements as they maintain that line under our property. It'll also require them to post a certain amount of financial security to ensure that they hold up their end of the bargain. John, did you have anything else to add, or Frank?
No, I think you kind of put it in general terms there of what we were after there. It looks like it could have been a road at one point in time if it was developed that way. I don't know that there ever will be a road in this area, but at least if there is a right of way through there.
Yeah, and I think I failed to mention where it was. I think it's over in Stoll Knoll, right off of Barnwell Lane.
It is. There won't be a continuation of a road there because that's where they're developing.
They typically pay for these things? I mean, I know in the private sector, you certainly would be paid for easement, but in the public world is.
Are you talking about UGI?
Yeah.
We could ask, you can make it part of the motion.
You can inquire.
Yeah, we can.
I mean, and if this was a private property, they certainly would go across for free. But if that's standard practice in the public sector, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to
Miss something.
Yeah. I mean, it's township property, and granted, nothing's probably ever going to be done with it, but it's still a restriction on the property.
Yeah, one thing with utilities, just to be aware of, is they get UGI under the UPUC. I'm trying to think of the term of art, but it's a certificate of, I want to say convenience, but I'm not sure if that's the right term. So they do have some more ability to kind of force individuals' hands to a certain extent, based upon the fact that they're providing a public utility to residents and the general public. But that doesn't mean we can have the conversation. So
And these aren't existing homes either.
Correct. Where they're extending it to, correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we looking at conditional approval with the dialogue of payment, or if there's any?
We can explore. Explore if that's an opportunity.
Along with what am I looking for? An easement agreement and also security, correct?
Right. Motion to enter into an easement with the township and repair the property, post the security, and investigate.
Compensation of sorts.
Yeah.
So do I have?
Like pending you were, right? You were negotiating.
Yeah, I'll work with Patrick.
Do I have?
Patrick?
Yes.
I think I should recuse myself on this because we do some work for UGI. I don't do this work for UGI, but
Okay, so long as you disclose what your potential conflict is, and then John, if you don't have a form for him to sign, I can send you one. That's fine.
Yeah. Let's get it in here to send him one because I'm not sure what form we're talking
I don't do this type of work for them, but we do some stuff.
So an ethical,
Just out
Abundance of caution.
of abundance of caution.
yep. Okay. So then I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. And we have one abstain, so then you'll get the form from
Yeah.
Patrick. Okay.
All right.
All right, so moving on to Eileen Kaplan. She has her 90-day probationary period has been done, and she has received a positive review and looking to do a 50-cent pay increase
Per hour.
per hour, 50 cents per hour pay increase. Do I have a motion in that regard? Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions, comments? And then all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to number 6, we had Jess Herberger resign. So we just need to accept her resignation.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Old business. Campbelltown riparian buffer
If I can
planting. Yeah.
have Andrew Black's actually on the phone here.
Okay.
And so he might be able to give us some information. Pat, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this or not with you, but let me see what I can do.
Okay. Me.
Andrew?
Yes, this is Andrew.
All right. If you can speak up a little bit, the volume's pretty low.
All right, can you hear me now? Is that better?
It's a little bit better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a couple things. I appreciate you guys' time. Our right-of-way department looked at this project in it's actually a public right-of-way off of Barnwell Lane. And my conversations with Pat about this easement was that we wouldn't be able to enter into an easement for this right-of-way, being that it's not privately owned by the township and it has no tax ID number. Therefore, we wouldn't be able to record it at the courthouse. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not entirely sure how this all works, but that was the information that they had gave me. So basically, this area is what they call a paper street, like you guys mentioned, and we are supposed to treat it just like a normal paved road, even though it hasn't been turned into a road. You know what I mean?
Well, a portion of it is, but I can't imagine that easement extends all the way. I can't imagine that easement would extend all the way over, but it would, I guess.
According to, I have the deed that I could send you that was dedicated to the township from the developer in 2011, and it extends the whole way from Barnwell Lane to the existing property line of the property that we're trying to gain access to.
If that's the case, then I would agree.
Yeah, but this is Pat. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we're gonna need something, whether it be an agreement/easement. We're gonna need something from UGI acknowledging that they're responsible for certain things.
Absolutely. And there was a conversation between us brought up about the road crossing agreement, and our legal department and right-of-way department had no issues with that. The only issues they had was with the specific easement as far as being recorded at the courthouse. We don't think that there's a way that we could record that at the courthouse, being that this area that we want to occupy does not have a tax ID number.
No, that's fine. And when it comes time for us to put the actual agreement together, I'll take a closer look as to what real estate rights the township has on that property. If you're saying it's simply a right-of-way and not fee simple, that might be something different. But I guess I'm looking at this agreement and easement as one and the same, to be honest with you. The question is whether or not it's going to be something that's going to be in a recordable form. And I think that's something we can cross that bridge once we have it put together.
Okay. Yeah, it's just all I was really looking for at this point in time was like an agreement that we could proceed with the project, because the developers already started work over there. We need to come up with a cost estimate on our end to find out if we can serve them. And if there would be,
Sounds like
if there would be,
Hammer out the wording. Do we lose you, Pat? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
And Andrew, did we answer your question or get you moving in the right direction?
you did. My only other question would be is regarding, you guys have brought up some conversation about the fees and stuff, and if there'd be a charge for it. I just need to know if there would be any fees associated with this crossing aside from the normal permitting fees through your normal permit fee schedule.
I wouldn't think so, as long as, I have no reason not to believe you, but as long as that easement is indeed a public easement and extends to the property line of the new development, I would agree with you that it would be handled just like, any other installation, and it would be the standard permitting for the road crossing.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. So moving on then back to the Campbelltown riparian planting, expansion of planting proposal update. So here we have a picture of where the proposed expansion will be. We're looking at shade trees planted along the walkway and parking area. I'm just trying to give everyone at home who's tuned in here an idea of what we're looking at here. Approximately 1 acre riparian buffer, 200 native trees, 50 shade trees planted along existing walkway and parking lot.
So if you're familiar with where the Campbelltown Fire Company is, if you look at the south end of that, that's sort of where the additional tree planting would be along the southern exposure of the soccer fields, and then going over along the ball fields a little bit there, so the side of the fire company side of things. And that's where ultimately it's great to have this proposal, but if I can't get the approval by the fire company, then some of these plantings wouldn't occur. So that's why I'm on your docket to talk with them about it to get the okay. But because the riparian buffer bid came in so low, and we talked with the granting entity on that, they said they would be certainly willing to expand the area for the planting, and that's what we're looking at right now. And that's the other thing that we'll be doing tomorrow when we meet with this vendor, so that they kind of get an understanding of where we're at if everything goes according to plan. It'll give us some nice shade, and it'll also hold in some of the by the creek back there, keep the sediment from washing away.
Any questions, Bill, Jeff? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So the last one here is the advertising of the defined contribution value from pension plan ordinance. This was then, we need to, you sent a copy to us. Patrick's seen the copy.
Yes.
We need to go ahead and move it to advertisement
We
now.
need to advertise it so that we can then have a hearing on it, so that public can have some input and formally go through with the ordinance getting approved. Patrick, am I correct in that?
Correct.
Jack or Bill, did either of you have any questions?
I don't know.
Patrick, you looked at it, looks like it was what we discussed and ready for advertisement.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an echo, but
Yes, we can't hear you unless Bill puts on his microphone on his computer, but then when I talk, then it's crazy Bill, so, yeah.
okay. I prepared the ordinance, and all the ordinance does is authorizes you to enter into or adopt the defined contribution plan. The defined contribution plan was prepared by R.J. Hall, correct, John?
Yes, correct.
And that plan is going to be attached to the ordinance as the exhibit, because all the ordinance does is authorize you to enter into the plan. The plan itself is an exhibit to the ordinance.
Do I have a motion to approve advertisement. Thank you, Bill. That was second. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Anything in welfare or anything I missed?
Just, did you authorize that for advertisement for a public hearing for your meeting in May? The May, whatever that meeting is?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's all. Sorry.
Thank you. Did Frank have anything? Does he need to report anything to us? Is he waving it? I can't see him. No, he's good to go. All right. Perfect.
Hey,
You have
just
something?
have a question. The workshop on April 29th. I mean, I would prefer not to do this as much as possible for the whole like be here. So I we got to figure out the council. Yeah, we need to do that.
I don't think we have anything slated for the April workshop. I think the only thing we have next for a workshop is May, and that was the sidewalk plan over at the In the Net complex.
The only other thing that we were going to talk about a little bit was the flood ordinance for the passing of easement and all that. But I think we can get that to the May meeting.
Yeah. There's not much change that we can do at this point to that anyways.
Correct. And given the stay at home order, we're through that period. We have to do it. That's it.
Okay. All right, so at this point, we'll officially cancel the workshop.
Okay.
And hopefully May we can resume our regular meeting or figure out our echo. Or get an amplified speakers for your people. We'll figure it out. It'll get better. All right, so if nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for those that attended, and thank you for your patience. We will get better at this, if we must. Otherwise, we can just have an open meeting with getting better.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Frank.
Take care.
Until.